Get him out of here. He's just using us, my brother hissed at Christmas dinner. Then watch your business collapse, I shot back, taking back every penny I ever lent them. My name's Gabriel. I'm 35, and I hadn't seen my family in over 6 years. Not by choice. I'd always longed to reconnect with them. From afar, I'd call, text, send birthday cards, mail Christmas gifts, and even arrange flowers when my mom retired. Their responses were rare, sometimes a curt thanks, often just silence. The distance began when I left the country for work, first to Switzerland, then Canada. I always believed we'd rebuild our bond when I returned. I pictured a warm homecoming like a long-lost son embraced. I was wrong. This past December, I finally had time off. I hoarded vacation days, booked flights early, and planned everything solo. I kept it secret, wanting to surprise them. I imagined their joy when I'd step through the door. On the flight, I rehearsed a line like, "Guess who's back?" After 14 grueling hours, multiple layovers, and 3 overpriced coffees, I landed, exhausted, but eager. I thought I was home at last, but no one was at the airport to greet me. I assumed they were delayed. I stood by the arrivals gate, watching others reunite with loved ones. The crowd thinned. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. Defeated, I took a cab. In hindsight, that emptiness was a sign. I reached my childhood home as dusk settled. Lights glowed, cars lined the driveway. Through the window, I saw my parents, brothers, their spouses, and my cousin, laughing around the dinner table. Christmas carols played faintly, dishes clinked, and glasses rose in toasts. I knocked. No response. I knocked harder. Finally, my Uncle Ben opened the door, drink in hand. He squinted at me like I was a stranger, then smirked. Didn't know ghosts got invitations. He stepped aside. No smile, no embrace, just coldness. Inside, the warmth I'd dreamed of was gone. My mom glanced up, blinked, and offered a stiff smile. "Oh, Gabriel," she said, as if just remembering I existed. My younger brother, Jack, scoffed and said, "We've moved on, man. You're not in the family photos anymore." "Okay," I whispered, stunned. I scanned the room, hoping for a laugh, a sign it was a joke, but silence hung heavy. Even my dad stayed mute. They resumed eating, casting uneasy glances my way. My old chair at the table was gone, not relocated, replaced by a storage cabinet. My name wasn't on the stockings by the fireplace. No gift waited for me under the tree. It was as if I'd been wiped from their lives entirely. I stood there, paralyzed. My mom approached and murmured, "Don't make a scene." I wanted to speak, to protest, but words failed me. I nodded, turned, and walked out into the winter chill, closing the door behind me. That night, I checked into a roadside motel. No festive lights, no hearty meal, just a vending machine sandwich and the stark realization I no longer had a family. I didn't text them, I didn't post online, I didn't cry, I just sat in silence. The next morning, I flew back to Canada. No one reached out, no calls, no messages. The quiet was deafening. For 2 months, I kept to myself. Work, eat, sleep. But the hurt festered, a slow burn. Something shifted inside me. That moment at the door, being treated like an outsider by the people who raised me, sparked a fire. I didn't crave vengeance, not at first. I wanted closure. But the more I reflected, the clearer it became. They hadn't forgotten me. They'd deliberately excluded me. I sifted through old messages, emails, photos. Patterns emerged. They'd phased me out of group chats, planned gatherings without me, posted pictures captioned, "Whole family's here." I recalled sending money to my dad for roof repairs. I remembered buying my niece a tablet for school, never hearing a thank you. I'd supported them from afar. I was their rock, the successful one. They'd bragged about me, Gabriel, the globetrotter, the entrepreneur. But when I stopped being useful, I became invisible. The truth hit hard. I wasn't loved, just needed. So I made a decision, not in anger, but with resolve. I contacted a lawyer I'd worked with on a business deal in the US. I listed everything I'd funded for my family over the years, some in my name, some co-signed, some paid with vague promises of repayment. I wanted to know what I could legally reclaim. Over 3 weeks, we gathered records, bank transfers, mortgage documents, property titles. Seeing it all laid out was staggering. The Lake Tahoe cabin? I covered the down payment. My mom's car? I co-signed, tied to my credit. Jack's business loan? Fully funded by me. They'd built their lives on my contributions, then discarded me. So I started unraveling it all. Not with fury, but precision. Legal, methodical. Small moves here, quiet withdrawals there, all above board. I wasn't out to destroy them. I just wanted my life back. 2 months after Christmas, the consequences began. My dad left a voicemail. "Hey, something's off. The bank's saying the Tahoe cabin needs a new appraisal for the loan. Call me?" I didn't. Then a group text. Why's the business account locked? Jack. I left it unread. The real storm hit last night around 10:40 p.m. My phone buzzed relentlessly. I ignored it. Finally, I checked. It was Casey, my sister, who I hadn't spoken to in over a year. Her text screamed in caps, "What did you do?" 3 missed calls followed, then a flood of messages. Furious, panicked, pleading. Something had snapped. The dominoes I'd nudged were falling, and I sat there, watching my phone glow. For the first time in years, I felt still. Not triumphant, just calm. I didn't respond. Not to Casey's frantic texts, not to Jack's long-winded rants starting with, "What's wrong with you?" and ending with, "We're family, man." Not to my mom's curt note, "You've made your point. Fix this now." I watched the group chat erupt with confusion, trying to piece together what I'd done, why the bank blocked their mortgage renewal, why Jack's business account was under review. Casey texted again, no longer angry but afraid. "Gabriel, please. Dad's losing it. They're saying the house might be at risk. What's happening?" I leaned back in my Canadian apartment far from the chaos and exhaled. Not out of joy, but clarity. I wasn't being vicious. I was done. There's a difference. Let me clarify what I did. It wasn't theatrical. No threats, no shady moves. Just calculated pressure, like removing a single block from an unsteady tower and letting it collapse. First, the Tahoe cabin. Years ago, I co-signed and paid the down payment so my parents could retire somewhere peaceful. They said it was temporary until they sold their old house. That sale never happened. I kept covering payments. Legally, I still owned half. I simply filed to confirm my stake, not to sell, just to clarify ownership. That froze their refinancing. Next, my mom's car. I co-signed her lease in 2019 after medical bills tanked her credit. The lease was still in my name. I told the dealership I wouldn't renew or sign again. She could buy it or return it. Purely business. Then, Jack's fitness company. This one felt good. 3 years ago, he pleaded for help to launch it. I sent $35,000 as a silent partner. No formal contract, just family trust. But I wasn't reckless. I funneled it through a Swiss holding company from an old venture. That made his business tied to a foreign investor. When I had my lawyer withdraw that company's stake, it flagged his account for a compliance review, freezing it. He called 3 times. I ignored him. His voice message, "Bro, what are you doing? I've got payroll, suppliers." I skipped the rest. More guilt trips. Casey, always the mediator, sent a long message calling my actions an overreaction. That word stung like being erased at Christmas was trivial. "You could have talked to us," she wrote. "Why hurt everyone?" I stared at her words. Hurt? They saw it as punishment, not me protecting myself. I didn't reply. Instead, I met with my accountant. We discussed cutting my final tie, the family trust. For a decade, I'd sent monthly contributions to their emergency fund. But it wasn't just for crises. It paid for parties, renovations, spa trips, even Jack's second honeymoon. I had proof. I told my accountant to close my share and return what remained. That afternoon, I signed the papers without hesitation. That night, my dad called. I didn't pick up. His voicemail sounded weary. "Gabriel, it's me. We need to talk. We didn't mean to push you out. Your mom's upset. Jack's in trouble. You've made your point. Can we talk?" I listened, then deleted it. Later, Casey emailed me a photo from Christmas. Everyone was at the table. Mom, Dad, Jack, Casey. Smiling, toasting. My chair was still gone. Her message read, "We didn't mean to leave you out. We thought you wouldn't show. You never do. Can we fix this? Tell us what you want." They didn't get it. It wasn't about money or gifts. It was about being invisible, giving everything until I was only useful, not family. It was about walking into my childhood home and feeling like an intruder. I drafted a reply, "I don't want anything. I just want to be free of you." I didn't send it. Not yet. I had one final step. Not revenge, but release. I needed to ensure they couldn't dismiss this as a tantrum. I knew they'd wait, gossip about my childishness, act shocked when I skipped next Christmas. My mom would likely send a breezy text months later. "Feeling better?" As if I just had a rough day. So I acted. I called a real estate agent in Colombia who'd helped with the Tahoe cabin. I said I might force a sale unless the co-owners bought my share at market value. I had the deed with my name. "They can't claim I wasn't involved," I said. "I want what's mine." Then I called a notary service. I'd written a letter, Not an email, but a physical letter, mailed to Mom, Dad, Jack, Casey, and Uncle Ben, whose mocking laugh still lingered. It was 2 pages. Page 1 was direct. I was severing all personal and financial ties, effective immediately. No shared accounts, no co-signed loans, no trust fund payments. Debts they owed me were closed, not forgiven, just done. Page 2 was harder. No rage, no accusations, just truth. I wrote about the airport standing alone after 14 hours. I described knocking on the door and hearing Ben's cruel chuckle. I recounted Jack's "we moved on" and my mom's "don't make a scene," as if I was the problem for existing. I wrote, "You didn't forget me, you erased me. Now I'm doing the same. I wished them well but said I was no longer family." I signed it, notarized it, and sent each copy by courier with tracking. The next day, my phone exploded, 70+ unread messages. I ignored them. Casey sent childhood photos, us at the lake with floaties, me helping Jack with birthday candles. "This is us," she wrote. "Don't throw it away." I nearly wavered, but then I remembered the silence in that house waiting for someone to say, "We missed you." No one did. They'd let me go long before. I was just making it official. 2 days later, the letters arrived. Jack posted an Instagram story, a black screen with, "Some things can't be undone." Casey texted, "Got your letter. I guess this is it. I wish it was different." At 2:13 a.m., a new message came from an unknown number. My stomach sank. It was my dad. I talked to Ben. No context, no punctuation, just those words. I checked Ben's Facebook. Deleted. Jack's page had a new post. A hospital hallway, sterile and dim. Caption, "Family's messy. Sometimes there's no redo." I froze. Was this a ploy, or had something happened? The hallway image haunted me, like every hospital where someone doesn't make it. Despite everything, the silence, the coldness, I felt that old pull to fix things, to call, to help. But I didn't. I talked to Ben. Ben, the uncle who laughed in my face, who once taught me to swing a bat. Now just a name tied to hospitals. I typed, "What happened?" No reply. An hour passed. Nothing. By morning, Casey called with the truth. I almost didn't answer, but I needed to know. "Gabriel," she said, her voice raw. "Ben had a stroke Saturday night. No one checked on him until Monday when he missed lunch." I stayed silent. "They found him on the floor, dehydrated, disoriented. He can't move his left side," she continued. "He's awake, but his speech is slurred." I listened. "He asked for you," she said. My throat tightened. "Me?" "Yeah," she replied. "He wants to make something right. I don't think he has long." She gave me the hospital name. 3 hours later, I was on a plane. I didn't tell anyone. I just went. The hospital was small, serene, with birds audible outside. The nurse directed me to room 204. Inside, lights dim, curtains half drawn, machines hummed. Uncle Ben, frail and pale, lay in bed. He turned slowly, eyes flickering with recognition. "Gabriel," he rasped. I pulled up a chair. "No hugs, no contact. Didn't think you'd come," he said, each word labored. "Didn't either," I replied. Silence stretched, broken only by beeps. "I screwed up," he said. "Christmas," I laughed. "You walked in, everyone froze. I was drunk, said something cruel to cut the tension. Made it worse." He coughed. I stayed quiet. "Heard about the trust, the cabin, Jack's business. Don't blame you," he said. "You always kept track." Another pause. "Not asking forgiveness. Just had to say this before I go. I saw you, kid. Always did. Even when they didn't." My chest tightened, but I didn't react. "It's late for that," he added. We sat in silence. I looked at him. Once the guy who taught me to change a tire, now a ghost of himself. I couldn't hate him. As I stood to leave, he grabbed my wrist. "Proud of you," he whispered. "Don't let them drag you back." I nodded and left. Outside, I ran into Jack. He looked shocked. "You're here?" I didn't respond. He looked worn, rumpled clothes, greasy hair. "I didn't know it was this bad," he said. "With you. With us." "You said you moved on without me," I replied. "That wasn't a slip. You meant it." He flinched. "I thought you didn't care. Always gone, working, traveling. Thought you were above us." "I was trying," I snapped. Calling, sending gifts, showing up. You didn't just stop talking, you erased me. He looked down. I messed up. No, I said. You all did. Together. He nodded. Can we fix it? I paused, really considered it. No, I said finally. His eyes widened. I don't hate you, I added. But I'm done chasing a place in a family that only needs me when it's convenient. That's it for now. He stepped aside. That evening, I visited my childhood home one last time. It was empty, everyone likely at the hospital. I didn't enter, just stood on the sidewalk, staring at the door I'd once rushed through as a kid. Then I walked away. Back in Canada, I didn't cry or rage. I just lived. I closed all shared accounts, sold my Tahoe stake to a third party. No fuss, just done. A month later, Casey texted. Ben passed away peacefully. Dad cried, Mom withdrew, Jack's business folded. She understood my actions, but asked if I'd ever return, even for coffee. I said maybe, but I knew I wouldn't. Not out of spite, but because I was finally free, living my own story, not surviving in theirs. So, what are your thoughts on this story? Do you agree with what happened, or do you see it differently? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. See you in the next one!